Warning, don't let this deceive you. Hey guys, Britt here. Welcome to End Times Bible Prophecy. Artificial intelligence is advancing exponentially, and not only does this pose a military threat, but it opens the door to new methods of government abuse, deception, and even portals to the demonic. So in today's video, we're going to talk about some of these things that are happening, that are set to happen. And you want to watch this video in its entirety to make sure you and those around you aren't deceived. We need to be sounding the warning on the things we're seeing. So let's start right here with this article from TechSpot. It says, Godfather of AI warns there's a 10 to 20% chance AI could seize control. Quote, people haven't got it yet. People haven't understood what's coming. And I agree 100%. Most people do not understand Jesus is coming, right? That's what's coming. Now, he's not talking about that. He's talking about something else, as we'll see. So he should include himself in this list of people who haven't understood what's coming, because Jesus is coming. That's what this is all about. But it says Geoffrey Hinton, one of the three legendary computer scientists who have become known as the godfathers of AI, is once again warning that the rapidly developing and lightly regulated AI industry poses a threat to humanity. Hinton said people don't understand what is coming and that there's a 10 to 20% chance of AI eventually taking control away from humans. Speaking during an interview earlier this month that was aired on CBS Saturday Morning, Hinton, who jointly won the Nobel Prize in Physics last year, issued a warning about the direction that AI development is heading. The best way to understand it emotionally is we are like somebody who has this really cute tiger cub, Hinton says. Unless you can be very sure that it's not going to want to kill you when it's grown up, you should worry. Quote, people haven't got it yet. People haven't understood what's coming. And again, he's absolutely right. He and others don't understand that Jesus is coming, but he's got it wrong on AI too. Let me tell you, there is not a 10 to 20% chance of AI taking control away from humans. We've talked about this over and over again, yet this myth continues to perpetuate, so we have to continue to address it. The percentage chance of that happening is 0. What is 100% certain is human beings will take control of AI and use it to abuse other human beings. The concern is government abuse, not takeover of the machines, not this Terminator 1980s fantasy of machines going to war against humans. It's human beings wielding power and wickedness over the rest of humanity. This goes on. It says it was Hinton's ideas that created the technical foundations that make large-scale models such as ChatGPT possible, including the first practical way to train deep stacks of artificial neurons end-to-end. Despite his contributions to the technology, Hinton has long warned of what could happen if AI development continues at speed and without safeguards. He left Google in 2023 so he could talk about the dangers of AI without impacting the company he worked for. Quote, look at how it was 5 years ago and how it is now, Hinton said of AI's state of being at the time. Take the difference and propagate it forward. That's scary, he added. And again, this is the wrong way of looking at things. This is a linear way of looking at things. He's saying, look at how it was 5 years ago and how it is now. How's it going to be 5 years from now based on that? Project this forward, propagate it forward. No, it's growing exponentially. So what you're going to see is a difference 5 years from now that's much greater in magnitude than what we've seen over the past 5 years. That's why all of these things will lull people to sleep, because they've heard of what's coming, well, where's all this great change we've heard about? And they don't realize the power of exponential change, that in any exponential function where something's doubling every interval, the last interval is 50% of all the progress. So this is hard for the humanity to wrap our minds around. But this is not linear change, it's exponential, and it's going to come upon the world very suddenly. It says the professor has also repeated concerns that AI could cause an extinction level event, especially as the technology increasingly finds its way into military weapons and vehicles. Now, again, there's a concern, there's a threat from military use of AI, but there is not an extinction level threat because we know the Bible tells us humanity survives the tribulation, the terrible things happen, no doubt about it. Lots of death and destruction happens, but humanity does not become extinct. The Bible makes that clear. Hinton said the risk is that tech companies eschew safety in favor of beating competitors to market and reaching tech milestones. Quote, I'm in the uncomfortable position of happening to agree with Elon Musk on this, which is that there's a 10 to 20% chance these things will take over, but that's just a wild guess, he said. And again, it is, because it's zero. While he spends more time fighting AI in the courts these days and promoting his own Grok chatbot, Musk used to often talk about the existential threat posed by AI. Maybe he's realizing the threat is from human beings, and that's why he's moved into politics. Hinton reiterated his concerns about AI companies prioritizing profits over safety. If you look at what the big companies are doing right now, they're lobbying to get less AI regulation. There's hardly any regulation as it is, but they want less, he said. Hinton believes that companies should dedicate much more of their available computer power, about a third, to safety research rather than the tiny fraction that's currently allocated. Hinton is also particularly disappointed in Google for going back on its word to never allow its AI to be used for military applications. Who would have thought? The company, which no longer uses the, quote, don't be evil motto, made its changes to its AI policy earlier this year, opening the door for its technology's use in military weapons. So, again, the motto at Google used to be, don't do evil, or don't be evil. They changed that. Why? Well, it sort of implies that, well, they're going to be evil. maybe we should erase the don't, and they should have made the new motto be evil. Because that's what they're implying by getting rid of that motto. Why would you get rid of that motto? But guys, we're set up for not only AI military applications, but military-grade deception from AI spreading across the world, as we see in this article right here. This is from Zero Hedge from a week ago. It says, early OpenAI investor, the chilling reason why U.S. must win AI race against China. It says venture capitalist Vinod Khosla has issued a grave warning, declaring that the United States is in a do-or-die AI race against China, with the specter of worldwide communist ideology looming if America falters. Khosla warned that failing to lead in AI could allow China's authoritarian regime to impose its oppressive vision globally. Quote, there's another kind of risk I worry about even more, Khosla told ex-interviewer Mario Nawfal. China can use AI in cyber warfare or physical warfare on the battlefield, but the one I worry about even more is the economic power that AI will give a nation that moves fast and wins the race. Again, human beings in control of AI should be the concern, not the AI itself. Once you have an economic power, I think it's trivially easy by 2030 to imagine China providing free doctors to the whole planet, free tutors to every child on the planet, and using essentially free goods and services to spread their political philosophy. And here, he's talking specifically about China, but this should be anyone. Whoever is the leader in AI will have the ability to roll out these AI agents free of charge. He mentions tutors as well as doctors and others, but think of tutor in a general sense, and the knowledge that's coming out of these AI agents into the world, well, where is that coming from? What's feeding it? Well, whatever dominant philosophy that power holds. Of course, we know humanity in general is behind a lot of that and what that ultimately means. So it says Khosla, who co-founded Sun Microsystems and later became one of OpenAI's earliest backers through his venture capital firm Khosla Ventures, went a step further by calling China's possession of powerful AI a potentially deadly threat to the world. The biggest risk is AI in Chinese hands, or any bad hands. So again, we're getting closer to figuring it out here, where we say the biggest risk of AI is the concern humanity will wield it abusively against other parts of humanity, right? But he says, we need to keep it out of bad hands. Well, no doubt China, I would consider bad hands. I don't want China in charge of the world. But are there any good hands that it could go into? That's the problem. That's why I said this is 100% certain that AI will be abused by government, by global empire, to rule over everyone else. The Bible tells us this. Jeremiah 17, verse 9, the human heart is the most deceitful of all things and desperately wicked. Who really knows how bad it is? AI will simply amplify what's already in the human heart. Jesus says this in Mark chapter 7, verse 21 through 22, for from within, out of a person's heart, come evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, wickedness, deceit, lustful desires, envy, slander, pride, and foolishness. And Romans chapter 3, verses 10 through 12 says, as the scriptures say, no one is righteous, not even one. No one is truly wise. No one is seeking God. All have turned away. All have become useless. No one does good, not a single one. But we read here, Khosla says, oh, we need to keep it out of bad hands. Well, it's in human hands. So by definition, it is in bad hands. That's why 100% certain this will be abused by the government against citizens all over the world. He goes on, he says, the more powerful the entity, the bigger the risk. If somebody used a nuclear weapon, it's verifiable. AI, when used, may not be verifiable. What does he mean by not verifiable? Well, cognitive warfare could take place. You could be deceived, deception. This will be used to change people's minds, direct their behavior, nudge them in certain directions, deceive them. And guys, we're seeing a major deception being rolled out as we speak. Let's turn and look at this right here. It says, this is from 8 days ago. It says, forever online, generative ghosts live in the AI afterlife. This is very concerning. We need to pay close attention to this. This is the primary purpose of the warning in this video that we're going to give, and you need to make sure you warn those around you. It says, in the not too distant future, saying goodbye to a loved one may no longer mean a final farewell. Well, if you know Christ and your loved one knows Christ, it isn't a final farewell. But this goes on. It says, several companies are offering services today to create artificial intelligence digital twins of deceased loved ones. Think of Superman conversing with the 3D twin of his Kryptonian father Jor-El in the Fortress of Solitude, who continued to give sage advice to his son well after he perished. Organizations offering AI afterlife services include Rememory from Deep Brain AI, Hereafter, Character.ai, Storyfile, Project December, and even MIT's Augmented Eternity. But in a research paper by Google DeepMind and University of Colorado researchers, they put forward a more advanced version quote, generative ghost. Generative ghosts go further than being AI digital twins that think, sound, and look like the dead. They can also generate new conversations based on new life events or current news, according to researchers. Moreover, they will have AI agent capabilities so they can act as you. For example, they could continue to work after death, potentially removing the need for life insurance, since they will keep on supporting dependents in the afterlife. This is coming, the researchers predicted. Quote, we anticipate that within our lifetimes it may become common practice for people to create custom AI agents to interact with loved ones and or the broader world after death, the researchers wrote. These generative ghosts are capable of learning, evolving, and acting independently in ways that could fundamentally reshape how we grieve, remember, and interact with the dead. We'll read a little bit more of this, but guys, this is a demonic area, a demonic realm that this is going into. It says, the idea is not science fiction, nor is it far-fetched. Companies offering a more basic form of digital immortality are already around, and their services are becoming more popular, especially in Asia, where communicating with dead ancestors is part of the culture. And that's a culture we should not be involved in. For example, in South Korea, a video of an emotional mother conversing with a virtual reality recreation of her deceased young daughter drew 36 million views as of this writing. Startups like Hereafter and Rememory already let clients record life stories that can later be animated through AI to converse with family after death. Let me make this very clear, guys. We read this in the Bible in Deuteronomy chapter 18, verses 10 through 12. It tells us to not do this. It very clearly states, for example, never sacrifice your son or daughter as a burnt offering, and do not let your people practice fortune-telling or use sorcery or interpret omens or engage in witchcraft or cast spells or function as mediums or psychics, or call forth the spirits of the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord. It is because the other nations have done these detestable things that the Lord your God will drive them out ahead of you. So we have a clearly outlined here in Deuteronomy chapter 18. We are not to be trying to interact with the dead, reach out to the dead, converse with the dead. You can call it AI and say it's different than how it has been in centuries past, but it is not. This is opening up a portal to the demonic. Now, there's been a number of people that have talked about, was AI demon-possessed? Is AI demonic? Again, AI is a tool. It's neutral. It can be used for good or bad. It's just a tool that human beings use. But if human beings use that tool to call forth spirits of the dead to try to interact with the dead, then the human beings are calling forth demons into their lives. So this can be used by demons to deceive people. So stay away from this. Do not engage in these services that are offering this. Make sure to tell everybody around you to avoid this. But we see more of this deception. So it says the pros and cons of generative ghost. Quote, our goal is to get rid of the pain of grief, said Justin Harrison, founder of You Only Virtual, a company that creates virtual versions of the deceased. Now, we have yet another goal by those behind AI, behind Silicon Valley, startups, all of this. Another goal, we're going to get rid of pain and grief. Well, we read this in Revelation 21:4. He will wipe every tear from their eyes, and there will be no more death or sorrow or crying or pain. All these things are gone forever. Yes, we are going to get rid of grief when Jesus Christ comes back, when he sets up his kingdom here on earth. In heaven, there will be no more grief, but we see the spirit of Antichrist, because remember, Antichrist means in place of, instead of Christ. And we're seeing all of these tech startups push agendas that look to offer everything we receive in Christ. They're trying to claim can be given through technology, whether it's, well, we're going to eliminate all grief. You can live forever. The blind will see, the lame will walk, the deaf will hear. We're going to eliminate poverty. We're going to eliminate war. Little by little, they're claiming with all of these technologies that they can achieve what humanity wants outside of Christ. This is the spirit of Antichrist pushing these things. This goes on. It says, also, should religious institutions embrace or reject these digital afterlives? If you're a Christian, you should reject it. Might new spiritual movements arise to worship them? Yes, they already are. Says the emergence of AI afterlives may reshape society in complex ways beyond our current imagining. No, it's well within our current imagining. It's just idol worship. This is a new form of idol worship. It may incorporate technology and seem different, but it's the same as it's always been. Again, might new spiritual movements arise to worship them? Yes, we're already seeing that. Remember, we looked at this article from prophecyrecon.substack.com. Joe Hawkins wrote this on Techno-Utopian Gospel, the Church of AI, and people that want to worship AI. I've talked about this in the past. I'll pin a link to this at the top of the comments so you can go read this again. But we're seeing all of this. Guys, it is military-grade deception that's coming as a result of AI. And Jesus warned us, Matthew 24, verses 4 through 5, he said, don't let anyone mislead you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah. They will deceive many. And again, we're seeing technologies coming about and promising this utopia. Oh, if you could end grieving and pain, you can be immortal, you can be with your loved one forever. All of these promises, all of which are available freely in Jesus Christ. It's a deception. They're trying to offer people this utopia, again, that's freely available. I mentioned in my book, Racing Toward Armageddon, up there many years ago, that they would do all of this. But guys, their technology, all of this stuff is counterfeit. It's a fraud. They're not really doing these things. They're just seeming to do these things. And even if they could do all of those things, technology cannot conquer death. We experience life only through Jesus Christ and the blood of Jesus Christ shed on the cross for us. He paid the price for our sin. The wages of sin is death, right? We're all sinners. There is nothing technology can do to remove sin. Only Jesus can do that. They can't even create a counterfeit miracle, nor do they even try to, because they want to continue in their sin, but achieve all these things separate from God. They want to set up their own throne in rebellion against God. That's what we're seeing. This whole transhumanist movement is all about. All of these technologies will only amplify the rebellion of humanity and the wickedness of the human heart. But guys, this stuff with communicating with the dead, remember Deuteronomy 18, brand that into your heart and into your mind. Don't let anyone deceive you into trying to do that and telling you this is a good thing. It's inviting the demonic into your life. So be warned of these types of companies proposing these things. So guys, let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. I'm still working on part 2 of the article from last week, the 3-part series I had intended, to put that out yesterday. That's why I always say, God willing, a whole bunch of unexpected things came up and that couldn't be completed, but now, God willing, hopefully that will be out tomorrow instead. So be on the lookout for that at brittgillette.substack.com. Till then, let me know your comments. God willing, I will see you again on Friday.